Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another video. We have a solar eclipse coming up this week, and that's what I want to chat with you about today is the wind down and wind up of some massive, massive changes happening to us all collectively and, of course, in our Aries houses. I know I'm so excited for all this Aries energy, and I must admit, since the sun moved into Aries last week, Ah, what a difference. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for the Pisces party to be over. I'd love to hear in the comments how you've been feeling with Neptune just hanging out at this last degree of Pisces, what feels like forever. That said, it will be coming back, but we will get some relief. So let us take a look at this eclipse chart. So we can see that the eclipse takes place at 9 degrees of Aries. Now, for us here in Brisbane, where I am, 8:58 p.m. in Brisbane. And if you are in the USA, so on the East Coast, you'll find that will happen at 6:58 in the morning. And it's the same time for everyone, being the 29th. What's really interesting is that Neptune is hanging right there at the edge of Pisces, and it will actually move into Aries on the 30th. And that's going to really herald such a brand new era for all of us. And so this eclipse is really sort of foreshadowing a lot of what we can expect in our Aries houses for a very long time. Now, this isn't our first rodeo with Aries energy because this eclipse is the final eclipse we're going to see in Aries, and it's winding down a good 18-month cycle. And I'll come back to that in a minute. So we've got the eclipse in Aries, Mercury retrograde in the mix as well, under the beams of the sun. And then we've also got the ruler of this eclipse is Mars in Cancer. So we've got this interesting dynamic where we have an exalted sun and a fallen ruler. So this eclipse, while it's not the most total of eclipses, it's actually a little wide. It's sort of what I tend to refer to as a hybrid eclipse because the nodes have moved on and started their new chapter in Virgo and Pisces. And so that it's a bit wide of the node, but it's still technically an eclipse because what, 13 degrees and 18 degrees distance is the general rule for astrologers when we're talking about whether a lunation is an eclipse or not. The sun has to be about 18 degrees or within 18 degrees of either the north or the south node. And any full or new moons that happen within that distance is classed as an eclipse. So, even though this is not the strongest eclipse in the world, it may still have a little bit of bite. So, one thing that I hear talked a lot in astrology about is this idea of eclipses can have effect for up to 6 months. And I think, really? That would mean we're under eclipse energies all of the time because we have eclipse seasons every 6 months. Now, look, I'm not saying that this is incorrect, but the way that I like to think about it is yes, we're going to be in nodal energies all of the time, not necessarily eclipse energies. So, the way I like to think about this is if you've been watching me for a while here on YouTube, my favorite show on Netflix, The Last Kingdom. Apologies if you never watched that or you didn't like that, but just take your favorite Netflix series and roll with the idea that a nodal cycle is 18 months. So that's the broad range of the cycle. And let's call that the Last Kingdom. So the Last Kingdom actually went for 5 seasons, but an eclipse cycle lasts for 18 months. Sometimes it can sort of stretch out for 2 years, depending on how the eclipses fall. But the nodes will activate a pair of houses in each of our birth charts for a total of 18 months. That you can take to the bank. And so, wherever the nodes go in your chart, those are the house topics, the themes of life that get churned up. So, what you need to be thinking about now is since July of 2023, your Aries and Libra houses, how have they changed? How have some perhaps areas of diplomacy, tact, niceness, politeness, harmony, balance, how have those things perhaps been reduced, purified, surrendered, let go of? Very simplistic way to talk about the South Node, but as a general rule, it's kind of how it rolls. Then with your Aries house, how have you had to maybe ask for forgiveness rather than permission? How have you had to put yourself, your needs, your desires, your wants first? So that has been the overall arching theme of the Aries Libra cycle. So the houses will show you where the nodes are occupying, will show you where the action takes place. So for some, first and seventh, for some, second and eighth, for some, fifth and 11th. You'll have to look at your own birth chart to determine that. So that is the last kingdom, that 18-month cycle. The eclipses come through every 6 months, lunar, solar eclipses, and they are more akin to the idea of each of the seasons that a Netflix series will have. The Last Kingdom had 5 seasons, but we usually sort of get usually about 3 seasons of eclipses when we're talking about 18-month cycles every 6 months. There's another favorite show I have, which is going to be ranked very close number 2. But that one is getting its next season. I think it comes out early next year. Anyway, so again, where the nodes are the topics. What the nodes are in terms of their sign will determine the more kind of psychological overlay of those houses. And so when we're talking about the Aries Libra dynamic, usually it's the me versus we, it's the I want versus what we want. It's trying to find that delicate balance of harmonizing versus balance. So, anyway, that cycle is officially done because the nodes are out of Aries and Libra now. They left back in January. This eclipse, however, is the sort of the last reflection, the last tying off the loose ends, the last hurrah, if you like. So, with the Last Kingdom, for instance, after their 5 seasons, they came out with a movie to finalize to wrap up the whole series where Uhtred got to go back to Bebbanbear, and you'll know just how wonderful that was if you saw it. So this eclipse is a bit like the finale movie where we can fully move on from the Aries Libra dynamic with a twist, but I'll get there. So what I love personally about this eclipse, and I've got some Libra bits and I'm still loving it, is that there is no Libra involved with this eclipse. The node is gone. So this eclipse is inviting you, and obviously I'm hoping this isn't going to come as a surprise because we've had Venus retrograde, we've had Mercury retrograde in Aries. So we've been really reflecting on our Aries houses. You've probably been really feeling some change, reassessments, rethinking, and quite possibly some frustration too with Mercury. But this really is the last pure shot of unadulterated, pure. I'm asking for forgiveness rather than permission when it comes to the Aries area of your life. This eclipse has no real relational entanglements. By the time the eclipse happens, Venus is in Pisces. She's retrograde back in Pisces, so she's not even in the sign boundary. So within the sign boundary. So she's out of the picture now. So there is something that is very much I am, I want, and I'm going to do. So it is kind of exciting, this eclipse, and I'm really, really looking forward to it personally. So what I love about this particular eclipse is it is giving us a pure shot of exalted solar light. Yes, it's an eclipse, technically. Yes, the ruler is not in great condition. But I think, given the broader picture of the astrology that we've been through, you might remember that Venus was retrograde in the sun sign in the summer, the Northern Hemisphere summer mid-year of 2023. Then the node moved into Aries-Libra. So we had the South Node in Libra. So that was a hellscape for relationships in general that year, collectively, politically, personally, and even in Hollywood too, actually. So then we have a Venus retrograde now as that eclipse cycle wound out, or that nodal cycle wound down. So it was really interesting when you think about it. Aries-Libra nodal story bookended by two retrograde cycles. First in Leo, the sun sign, the second, the sun's exaltation. With Venus retrograde in Aries, although she's now in Pisces, she is coming back to Aries. And of course, we have Mercury retrograde in Aries still. So, and it will be back in Pisces by the time the eclipse happens. So that's again what I mean about the pure shot of Aries energy. We've had this opportunity before both Venus and Mercury slip back into Pisces to really reflect on our Aries part of life, reflect on relationships, where have I maybe compromised on my own happiness for the sake of something or someone else. I have to I didn't think of this. It was a friend that reflected this back to me, actually. It's like, where are you choosing harmony at the cost of balance? And so, again, that's the Venus retrograde story. And so now all of this funky stuff of the South Node in Libra, the Venus retrograde, although it's not over, it's out of Aries. The eclipse happens, Neptune moves in. Of course, Venus and Mercury will come back and do their thing there as well. And then Saturn moves in. So we've got a real rearrangement of our Aries houses that has been taken place. Collectively, not so great, I don't feel. I mean, it will definitely be a rearrangement of sorts. And so in our personal lives, what do you need to rearrange to fully, unapologetically, authentically need to take charge of? What do you need to fully embrace and desire? What do you need to do in order to kind of get to those proverbial gates of heaven and say, I did all that I could do in order to fulfill God's will or the will of the creator or whatever works for you in that capacity? And that is Aries. It is ruled by Mars. Live by the sword, you die by it. So if you have something in your life that you want to do, be, have, achieve, um, you really kind of need to pull your socks up. And of course, I'm talking to myself here too. I'm not immune to these energies. I have the South Node in Aries, so I can have this real do or die dynamic to me. I can also be exceptionally lazy. And this is what the baptism of fire of Aries is going to help all of us do, to awaken from this Piscean slumber, this Piscean dream, this Piscean puddle of whatever it's been. The elemental shift from water to fire is like walking out of a Betty Ford clinic. It is astro rehab. It is clarity. It is action. It is pure fire. And so when we have fire, we have action, we have inspiration, and we have movement. And where we have Aries in our birth chart is where that dial is going to be turned right up to 11. I'm here for it. I hope you are too. And of course, Neptune is going to help us clarify some of those longings, some of those yearnings that while in Pisces, it's all internalized and felt and messy. Aries then says, what are you going to do about it? And of course, Neptune is not exceptionally conducive to getting things done. And this is where Saturn's going to help in May. Saturn will arrive in Aries. I think it's May 26th from the top of my head. I've got my brain is in writing 2026 horoscopes right now, so I don't even know what time zone I'm in. But the combination of Saturn and Neptune is asking you to commit to a dream. The Pisces component of that is imagining what could the dream be. And imagining's not enough. You have to do. Action is the thing that gets you out of fatigue. It gets you out of depression. It gets you out of circling the same storyline all of the time. You have to just do. That is the whole reason we're here, is to do something. So with this Aries new moon solar eclipse, a good question to ponder is, what are you going to do when we enter in these brand new cycles of these outer planetary movements? And I have a new moon workshop all about that. If you would like to catch it, it's on my website. I'll pop a link for that below. If you would love to learn more about eclipses, more about the nodes, planets conjunct nodes in the birth chart, all of that sort of thing, I also have a training series on all of that, and I'll pop a link below where you can access that material and start to formulate some of your own ideas, opinions, and philosophies around the nodes and eclipses, because it is very, very, very rich astrology. I have my sect light conjoined the nodes, so yeah, I tap into them a fair amount. So some charts are more nodal than others, and all of that you will discover in this. I think there's maybe 4 classes and a webinar in the training series, which you're welcome to access via the link. So I'd love to hear from you. Are you excited about the eclipse and these new Aries ingresses? I know I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all of these big outer planetary movements. I'd love to hear what house Neptune will be activating for you. Are you feeling it already? We've still got a few days to go. That being said, we've waited, 160 something years for it. What's a few days? I'm definitely starting to feel that fire starting to bring back that idea of separation, clarity, going for it. Neptune and Aries is very much, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm still going to go there. So that's my thoughts for the week. I hope you found them interesting, and I'd love to hear your comments below. Until next time.